Well, hello everyone. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, October 26th, 2020. Wow, it's hard to believe. This month is almost over. And so we are here today for our HR moment with Menifield and Associates. And I often, as you guys know, in the space that I'm in, I spend a lot of time with new managers. When we talk about, what we do and how we do it, um, I can say that new managers or those really, starting to initially make that transition into leading and supervising others, that has become what I would say my sweet spot. And so I, am in a lot of groups. I mentor new supervisors. And so over the weekend, I had one of my supervisors share with me some discontent about the fact that one of their direct reports makes more money than they make. And I have been hearing this a lot more frequently. And so I thought maybe this was really a great time for us to converse about that, right? Like, how do you deal with that as a supervisor? Because the person was a tad offended when they first found out that one of the people that they supervise made more money than them. And so my immediate reaction was first to try to calm them down and help them to understand even some of my personal history. So depending on where you work and the type of organization, some organizations have pay bands where people make a salary within a margin. And so, for instance, a position may pay anywhere from 40 to 60,000. So everybody on that band makes that amount. And then on the supervisory side, for instance, for that particular position, it could be 50 to 70. So the high is higher than the low high. But if you're the new supervisor, you're starting at 50. And if you have a veteran on your staff, they may be closer to the 60. And so over time, as long as that person stays in that band, they'll cap out, right? So like they'll be at 60, but you have the potential as the supervisor or manager to go up to 70. And so again, this could be the case. Another example of why this could happen could be like, where are people hired? Some of us manage teams that are geographically located in different places. And so depending on when and where they were hired, they may have started out at a higher base pay. So another example is one of my mentees manages a team that's regional, and they were hired in a state with a lower starting wage and lower cost of living. So they were hired in, I believe, Mississippi. And one of the people that they managed were hired in Georgia. And so when the whole team got a flat percentage increase because of, good performance, that flat percentage over a higher number took the team member higher than the supervisor. There are also times when supervisors on paper make more, but because team members can make time and a half when they work over, and sometimes our managers or supervisors are salaried, that could be how they make more money. And then, of course, there is, what was negotiated. Maybe I'm the supervisor. I negotiated my salary 3 years ago. The economy was what it was. There will be people taking jobs today, even as supervisors, that may even start out making less because they're negotiating in a market that is a little depressed, right? Because so many people are unemployed. So we have to take all these things into account. Now, why did I start off talking about all the reasons why it could have happened? Because unfortunately, so often when we find this out, we assume that the reason is personal. Now, I am not here to tell you that there are not some cases when the reason is nothing that we can justify. But did you entertain the possibility that there are some legitimate reasons why your team members may make more money than you? So let's entertain that. Now, again, if you watch any of my videos or follow me, you probably know I'm a big sports fan. Because think about it, in sports, more times than not, if we consider the coach the manager, often the players make more than the coach. We're talking about professional sports, right? Now, in these cases, it's because we've gleaned or we feel that these players are the top in their field and their skill set demands it, right? And depending on what the market calls for. So there are other places, and I think sometimes we forget about this, right? That it's even more common that the manager makes less. And so that's another question I would ask. Are you managing a team of people with very specific skill set? So they have an expertise that is in high demand and you have to attract. And, you know, of course, there's different pricing strategies for hiring, right? Do you want to lead the market? Do you want to lag the market? Or you just want to pay the average? And so some industries, we want to lead the market. So we pay above what others are paying for this skill because we want the best and we want to keep them and we don't want to have to worry about them being lured away. So again, these are just all some of the possibilities of why this may be happening. So now the question though for today is, how do you deal with it? Because for some people, this is very frustrating. They're angry, they're mad, they feel like they've been misled, they feel insulted because we have this paradigm again in our mind that because we're the supervisor, we should make the most money. And so a couple of things I want to encourage you to do is first, just relax, like take a deep breath. As we say, woosah, calm down. And again, ask yourself some vital questions. Again, some of the things we've already talked about. Is this a specialty? Does the person on my team bring a degree of expertise that maybe I have general leadership skills and knowledge, but maybe I'm not an expert there? Are these salaries negotiated? So did the person just have an opportunity to leverage more? Because at the end of the day, you're worth what the market says you're worth, quote unquote, if we want to talk about money sometimes. And it's again, timing, you know, how desperate maybe the company was to fill that position. Is this a highly sought after field? Is the market of available candidates low? There's some other things we have to consider. But here's what I would definitely tell you not to do. Don't use that as the justification to get the raise. Like that, I think that's one of the worst things you can do. And I'll tell you why. Because your value should be based on something you can effectively articulate. So for instance, do some research, like find out what is the market rate for people doing what you're doing, not doing what your team members are doing, because maybe some of them are overpriced. So the bigger question is your salary in alignment with what the market says it should be? If you believe that you bring some special expertise, years of experience, and some other things that should elevate you having a conversation about a salary increase, then let your words be all about what you bring to the table, your expertise, your technical abilities, your strengths, and then negotiate, right? Is there room on the table to be met somewhere? Or are there some things that could be incentivized? Because maybe we can agree this is your base salary, but you agree that maybe I deserve a percentage of some other things that my role plays an impact in. But when you decide to have this conversation, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have it, because if it's really bothering you, I think you need to talk to somebody. You need to talk to HR. You either need to talk to your manager. And again, we know many of you work for small companies, so you don't have an HR department. This is one of the reasons why we really advocate even doing some kind of HR consulting to create some standards, because what can often happen in small businesses is the owner, manager is not consistent in how they make offers and employment packages. And so that could be it. And it really has nothing, again, to do with the fact that it was intentional. It's, what day you caught me, if I really need somebody, it was leveraged. They got what they asked for. So in the event that's a possibility, then maybe also some HR expertise. It could be something that your company could benefit from as well. But have the conversation and just get clarity. Don't be defensive. Again, try not to be angry, because it's not something to be angry about per se. We just don't know yet if we don't have all the facts. And it could be possible that even your manager is not aware. And so I say all that to say, now when I go back to the original part of the story, is I was talking to one of my mentees, and one of the young ladies that I coach. When we had the first conversation, she was angry and livid. And my advice to her, and she was angry because, again, she had just gotten a raise, but based on the percentage, her team member now makes more than her. I said, today is not the day, number one, when getting a raise in an economic environment where people are losing their jobs, to not be content, or at least grateful. Do a good job. Keep showing up, delivering, be the best, right? Like, give people something to talk about. You may have heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. But, a few years ago, I heard Seth Godin speak, and it was one of the best presentations I'd ever seen. But what he said that really resonated with me was, he talked about being remarkable. And immediately I remember hearing that and thinking, be remarkable? Because I thought about how I often use the word remarkable. But what Seth said was, be worth, or, I don't know if he used the word worth, but this is my interpretation. Be worth someone making a remark about. And ever since then, I have looked at that word so much differently. So if, like for me, I get up and make videos 3 days a week, I want to be remarkable. Like, I want you to watch this video and either think I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about, and so now you make one in protest, or you think it's really good and you tell somebody about it. But if I'm just making videos and nobody ever says anything, then I'm not remarkable, right? And since I have no comments today, that's really ironic that I would say that, right? But I digress. So my point was, be remarkable. Like, be that employee that your supervisor and your team members and your peers are like, hey, Angela's really good at, or Angela really did a great presentation last week, right? Somebody's making a remark about you. Do your work. Over time, the conversation is going to come up. But don't be angry. Don't sit on your gifts. Because really, sometimes when we get angry and we say, well, I'm not doing anything extra, what we're doing is we're missing out on an opportunity to shine and show somebody how, quote unquote, remarkable we are, right? And so it's been about 4 months since I had this first conversation with this person. And on Friday, their boss was talking to them about end of year bonuses and how things were going to be divvied out. And somewhere along the way, it came up, and the boss was actually shocked. Like, in thinking I had done such a great thing and giving you a raise, the boss wasn't aware, because of the different locations that the employees were hired in, that it had a disparate impact on the supervisor. Because again, the supervisor was hired in a different locale. And the supervisor was like shocked and kept saying, are you sure? And wanted to double check it. And then was like, why are you sure you make what you make? Which we thought was pretty funny. But long story short, the supervisor finished the conversation with, well, now I see one more thing I need to address. So often when things don't appear to be going in our favor and we take offense about it, it's unnecessary offense, right? My attitude in life, things just are, right? It just is. Is it good or is it bad? I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. Like, it's good if I compare it to a situation with somebody who didn't get a raise, but it's bad if I want to compare it to the fact that I didn't get as much as somebody else. So I get to decide how I feel about the raise. And I believe, and I know the world is not perfect and I'm not Pollyanna and all that other stuff, But I still believe more times than not, when you buckle down, do what you need to do, get good at it, let people see the value that you bring, somebody's going to recognize it. And then if they don't, guess what? Maybe it's not the place for you. And that's okay too. But you still got some really great experience. And then you go take that experience and take it somewhere where somebody wants to pay you. So that's my 2 cents. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. We can talk a little bit more about this topic if you guys have other questions. But I just leave you with, again, as a supervisor or manager, don't let it destroy you. Don't let it take you down, create a negative attitude. Don't walk in people's office, upset. Don't let it shift your thinking and your energy and the value that you bring. But it's worth the conversation. So again, talk to HR, talk to your supervisor, have the discussion in a professional way, and show up to the table with data, not just feelings about how I feel about managing somebody who makes more money than me. Let's talk about what the market says my skills are worth, and how do we bring me up to parity based on what I believe, I should command as a salary. So again, my name is Angela Hooper-Menifield. I'm Chief Equipping Officer of Menifield Associates. And again, we do these HR moments on Monday, Wednesday, Friday as a way to add value to businesses who, one, don't have HR departments, but also to new supervisors. Hey, Kelly, it's so good to see you. I was wondering if I had anybody out there in the world. So thank you so much. So thank you, Kelly. You made me remarkable. It's always good to see you. So guys, take care, and we'll be back on Wednesday, and keep sending those topics and questions, and we'll keep doing the HR moments. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.